Hey, this week on Wednesday Wisdom, we're covering Luke chapter 4, verses 14 and 15. And once again, they're just a couple verses that if you're reading this, you might just gloss right over them and think they're not very important. But really, they say a lot. I mean, these verses here, and let me go ahead and read them first. It says, Then Jesus returned to Galilee, filled with the Holy Spirit's power. Reports about him spread quickly through the whole region. He taught regularly in the synagogues and was praised by everyone. Looking at these, this is actually where Jesus' ministry began. This is a big shift in his life. He's been on the earth for 30 years, but now he's been baptized, went and got tempted in the desert by Satan, made it through that, and now he's like, hey, I'm going to return home. I'm going to go start doing things to affect the world. And I think this little section of verses says so much about us as Christians that, once we do that step of obedience and get baptized, we are filled with that same Holy Spirit. Like it says here, he's filled with the Holy Spirit's power, and we have that same power living inside us. And the way that, Jesus here all of a sudden starts doing ministry, he decides to go where the people are. You can't do ministry by yourself. So you go to places where people are to interact with them, to affect their lives, to affect change in the name of God. And that's exactly what Jesus is doing right here. And some of the things that he does, he goes out and teaches in the synagogue. That might be equivalent to us going and volunteering in church or going and volunteering in other places where we can help other people, because we know ministry is not all about us. It's about others and helping them go on the same journey that we're on. So Jesus is modeling that for us perfectly here. And the other thing I thought was interesting, reports about him spread quickly. There's been a change, right? Like I said, he's been on earth for 30 years, but now all of a sudden Jesus is acting differently. He's filled with the Spirit, and he's going to start doing some serious things that people have never seen before. And people are going to talk. People are going to say, hey, man, what's different about that guy? Have you heard this? Have you seen what he's doing? And again, I would equate that to you and I. When we get serious about our faith and we start doing things that maybe we didn't act the way we did before. People see that. People notice that. And a lot of times people say, hey, I want to be like that. And that opens those opportunities for conversations, for encouragement, just to lead to God, not to us. So I think it's important to realize what is going on in these two little verses. It's actually a very big change. Jesus is going to be using the power of the Spirit in his life here on earth, and we can do the same thing. At our Delara Winter Circle study, we just finished a big, not quite a year long, but we spent a long time just learning about the Holy Spirit and some of the ways that we as people forget about the Holy Spirit that resides in us, right? And we stifle maybe the fruit of the spirits in our life because we don't take the time to be in tune with the Spirit. So this week, maybe that's what I'd like us to focus on and encourage you in, is just have some quiet time. Just sit there and listen to the Spirit that's already in you and dwells within inside you, and just see what it might be calling you to do, or just how it might be trying to build that closer relationship with you. And even there, I said it, and that's such a bad thing when we're talking about the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is not a it, it's a he. The Holy Spirit is God living in you, living in me. But yet so often we misphrase that and say it because there is that distance there. And myself included, I invite you this week just to think about that. Think about closing that distance and realize that God, he is living in you. Have a great week, and we'll catch you next time on Wednesday Wisdom.